Now, uh, today we will discuss the analysis of truss. Now, truss has a lot of applications in automobile engineering, civil engineering, and other engineering disciplines also. Now, see here, in automobile engineering, some frames are designed by using the theory of the truss. Again, supports for the sheets are designed on the basis of the truss analysis. Okay, that supports our truss. Okay, now very good example of the truss is bicycle frame. Bicycle frame, it is a very good example of the truss. And in civil engineering, building structure, that is truss members are usually in building structures, and truss members are usually in bridge construction. Okay, now I will show the image of this truss. You see this image of the truss. This is a truss structure, and these are the members of the truss structure. I think you have studied these truss structures in first year of the engineering. uh, Now, this these truss structures, it has some supports and loads are applied at the joints or any joints. Okay, and under these loads you will get the tension and compression of the truss members. That means these truss members are either related to tensile stresses or compressive stresses. Every member of the truss will support some load, or there will be some force in every member, and that force is in the direction of the truss. That is, you will get the tensile or compressive stresses in the truss. Now see here, what is the difference between the element which we have used for stepped bar and this one? In stepped bar also we have considered tensile and compressive loads in only one direction. Here also we are considering that type of forces, but there is some difference between these members and your members used for stepped bars. Now, what is that difference? I will tell you. See here, in case of stepped bars, your force is only in one direction. Only in one direction. Therefore, it is developing the stresses in one direction. That means it is either in x direction or in y direction. Okay. Now, when we assemble stiffness matrices for the stepped bar, and when we calculate the displacements, you will get the displacement in only one direction. Okay, and stresses also in only one direction. Now here truss members are inclined. Truss members are uh, in x direction, y direction, as well as in inclination to x or y direction. Okay, that means these truss members are inclined position. You see these truss members, these are in inclined position. Now here, for these horizontal members, you will get the force in x and y x direction. For vertical member, we will get the force in y direction. And for this inclined member, you will not get the force exact in x or y direction. Okay, now this will create the problem when we assemble the stiffness matrices, displacement matrices, and force matrices. Okay, therefore, while analyzing these truss members, direct the theory of the your basic structural element we cannot use. We have to modify that theory, and with the modification of that theory, we have to use it for analysis of the truss. Now, how we can modify that? That I will explain, and how we can derive the stiffness matrix, displacement matrix, force matrix, and also we will develop the finite element equation for truss member. And by using that finite element equation, we will calculate the stresses, strains, and forces supported by these members. Now, how we can do that, I will show you. Now, for doing that, for writing the stiffness matrix for single truss element, I will take only one truss element here. then we will then I will show you assembly of the multiple truss members. Now suppose this is the truss element or element of the truss assembly. Okay, this is single truss member. It has node 1 and node 2. Okay, now see here we have this global x and y coordinates. That is, this is a global x direction, this is a global y direction. Now here we are using the local x direction and local y direction because we are getting the displacement in this direction, okay. Now for this member you will get the displacement in this direction, that is along the axis of that truss member. Therefore we are defining the local coordinate system, and that local coordinate system is along the length of the truss member. Local coordinate system is along the length of the truss member. Here this x dash is your local coordinate system, and this x and this y, it is a global coordinate system. Now this is a node number 1. It has x coordinate as well as y coordinate. Now in stepped bars x coordinate, that node has either x coordinate or y coordinate depending upon the direction, and one coordinate is 0. It is either horizontal or it is vertical, but here it is not horizontal or vertical, it is at inclination. Now uh, this inclination is with the x axis. Okay, therefore your local coordinate direction is in this x dash direction. Okay, now when we consider the local coordinate direction is x dash, now you will get the displacement of this node, in x dash direction, and displacement of node 2 in x dash direction. Therefore if we write the displacement matrix in local coordinate system, it has only two components. One is displacement of node 1 and displacement of node 2. You can see here, if I write the displacement matrix for this truss in local coordinate direction, then you will get u dash is equal to u1 dash, it is a displacement of node in local x direction, and u2 dash, it is a displacement of node 2 in local x direction. Same thing you will get for the force also. That is, if we consider the force, and if I apply the force in local x direction, you will get two forces, that is force at node 1 and force at node 2. But this is not useful when we go for multiple number of truss elements. That means if we go for the assembly, this displacement matrix and this force matrix, it is not applicable for calculation of the stresses and strains. Okay, why? Because every element has different orientation, and every element has different local direction. We cannot combine that directions. Okay, now how we can do this, how we can overcome this problem? Now for that, if you see this force, you know the force matrix now, or you know the force in local direction. If this force in local direction, that force we can resolve in x direction as well as in y direction. Okay, we can resolve the force in x direction, we can resolve the force in y direction. That is, component of the force in local direction can be resolved in global directions. Okay, now when we resolve that forces in x and y direction, you will get the two components of the forces at node number 1, and you will get the two components of the forces at node number 2. Okay, same thing for the displacement, here u1 dash is the displacement of node number 1 in x direction, sorry, in local x direction, that is x dash direction. Now when we resolve that u1 dash, you will get one component in x direction, that is component of the displacement in x direction, component of the displacement in y direction. Okay, same thing for node number 2, you will get the component of the displacement in x direction and component of the displacement in y direction. That means u1 is resolved into two components, u2 is also resolved into two components. So when we resolve these two components, resolve this into two components, you will get the 2 degrees of freedom at node number 1, and you will get the 2 degrees of freedom at node number 2. Therefore your displacement matrix in global coordinate system, it has 4 components for single truss element. That is displacement at node number 1 in x direction, displacement at node number 1 in y direction, displacement at node number 2 in x direction, displacement of node number 2 in y direction. Now how it will be, that I will show you. Now you observe this image. Now see here, this is the element, this is the element before application of the load, before application of the load, and after application of the load, after application of the load, that means when we apply any load on this truss member, this first node is shifted to 1 dash. That means node number 1 is shifted to 1 dash, and node number 2 is shifted to 2 dash. That means this truss member is shifted from this its original position to this new position. This is a deformed element, or this is a after application of the load. Now this node number 1 is shifted to 1 dash. Now if you consider the local displacement of node number 1, it is u1 dash, it is u1 dash, and local displacement of node number 2, it is u2 dash, it is u2 dash. This is a local displacement. Now we need the displacement in global coordinate system, displacement in global coordinate system. Now if you observe this one, here it has two components. It is u1 in x direction and v1 in y direction. u1 is the displacement of node in x direction, v1 is the displacement of node in y direction. How it will happen, I will show you. This is a displacement in local direction. Now this is a displacement in global direction, that is u1 and v1. This is u2 and v2. Now what is the relation between this local displacement or displacement in local direction and displacement in global direction? For that, what I will do, I will take this point as a and this point as a b. Now this from b, what I will do, I will draw one perpendicular line which is meeting at the end of this u1. That means at the end of displacement in a global direction, displacement in global direction, and that of the node number 1. Now when we consider this AB and this triangle, now see here, AB is equal to u1 cos theta. AB is equal to u1 cos theta. You can see here this angle is theta. What we have taken, theta is the angle made by that truss member with the horizontal. Theta is the angle taken by the truss element with the horizontal direction. That means with the x-axis. Now when we measure this, it is a cos of this u1 distance into cos theta. Okay. Now next what I will do, now this is your new node position, that is 1 is shifted to 1 dash. Now from that new position, what I will do, I will draw perpendicular here, okay, and that is your u1 dash. Next one, from this I will draw vertical, that is your v1. Now here, if these two lines are parallel, that means this is a b to this is perpendicular, c to this node number 1 is also perpendicular. If these two lines are parallel, then this faint line which I have drawn here, this distance equal to the BC, and if this angle is theta, this angle is this is also 90 degree. This is also 90 degree because I have extended just. And if this is a perpendicular to this, then this is parallel to your this one, and here you will get the 90 degree angle, and here you will get the theta degree, and this length which is equal to BC, this is your length equal to v1 sin theta. That means this length is v1 sin theta. Now see here, AB equal to u1 cos theta, BC equal to v1 sin theta. Okay, and AB plus BC is your u1 dash. That means displacement in local coordinate system, u1 dash equal to the u1 cos theta. u1 is your displacement in global coordinate system. Okay, plus BC or plus it is V1 sin theta. V1 is the vertical displacement in global coordinate system. So I can write this equation like this, that is U1 is equal to U1 cos theta, that is U1 dash equal to U1 cos theta plus V1 sin theta. U1 cos theta plus V1 sin theta. Okay. Same thing when we do for this one, you see here your node number 2 is shifted from here to here. Sorry, here 2 is shifted to 2 dash. Now it has horizontal component U2 and it has vertical component V2. Okay, and displacement of that node number 2 in local coordinate system is U2 dash. Okay, now this angle is theta. This angle is theta. Now from this 2 point to this point, it is your U2 cos theta. U2 cos theta, and from this point to this point, it is your V2 sin theta. V2 sin theta. Therefore, U2 dash you will get U2 cos theta plus V2 sin theta. Okay. Now this is the relation between the displacements in local coordinate system and in global coordinate system. U1 and V1 are the displacements in global coordinate system. U2 and V2 are the displacements in global coordinate system. And U1 dash and U2 dash, these are the displacement in local coordinate system. Okay. If you are doubt, you can ask me. Now here, this is a local coordinate system. Displacement in local coordinate system is equal to displacement in x direction into cos theta plus displacement of the same node in y direction into sin theta. Okay. Here displacement in local direction, it is equal to the displacement of node in x direction plus displacement of node in y direction into sin theta. This into cos theta, this into sin theta. Okay. Now what I will do, I will assume this cos theta is equal to L and sin theta is equal to M. Okay. See here, theta is the angle made by that element with horizontal. You have to remember this. It is not with vertical. It is the angle made with the horizontal, and we have taken in positive coordinate system, that is first quadrant. Okay. So cos theta is equal to L I will assume, and sin theta is equal to M I will assume. Now this cos theta and sin theta, or L and M, are known as the direction cosines of the element. Now after writing these two equations, I can write these two equations in the matrix form. That means I can use this matrix and this matrix. And for writing these two equations in matrix form, what you will get here, U1 and U1 dash and U2 dash is on left side. On right side, you can see here, we will get one square matrix where cos theta, sin theta, 0, 0. Next, second row, 0, 0. Cos theta, sin theta into U1, V1, U2, V2. Okay. U1 is the displacement of node number 1 in x direction. V1 is the displacement of node number 1 in y direction. U2 is the displacement of node number 2 in x direction. V2 is the displacement in y direction. And it is related to this local displacements by direction cosines. Now what is that matrix relation you see here? You see this one, U1 dash, U2 dash equal to the cos theta, sin theta, 0, 0, 0, 0, cos theta, sin theta into U1, V1, U2, V2. Now from that you get equations which you have seen on the last slide, that is U1 equal to the U1 cos theta, sorry, U1 dash equal to the U1 cos theta plus V1 sin theta. U2 dash equal to the U2 cos theta plus V2 sin theta. Now cos theta I have taken as a L, I have assumed that as a L, and sin theta I have used it as a M, and this cos theta is L and sin theta is equal to M. So your U1 dash, U2 dash, it becomes L into U1, M into V1, L into U2 plus M into V2. Okay. Now, in short, we can write U dash, it is the displacement matrix in local coordinate system equal to the this direction cosine matrix. It is L M 0 0 L M, that is cos theta sin theta 0 0 0 0 cos theta sin theta into U matrix. It is a displacement in global coordinate system, and it has 4 components, and this is 2 by 4 matrix. That means your truss member has, you see here, truss member in global coordinate system has 2 degrees per node, and total degrees of freedom for this element are 4. Therefore, you will get the displacement matrix in global coordinate system equal to 4 by 1. Okay, 4 by 1 matrix as a displacement matrix for single truss element. If you have doubt, you can ask me. Next one, it is in short. Now for calculation of the direction cosines, how we can calculate the direction cosine matrix? That is how we can calculate this L, M, L, M. All these equations are required for solving numerical on this or for doing the project on this. Okay. Now you see this one. Now suppose node number 1 has coordinates x1, y1. Node number 2 has coordinates x2, y2. Now if you want to calculate the cos theta, then x2 minus x1 divided by length of the element. X2 minus x1 divided by length of the element. Now you can see here cos theta is equal to x2 minus x1 divided by length of the element. Okay. Now this is your cosine angle, or this is your L, small l, and sin theta is y2 minus y1 divided by L, that is M is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by L. Okay. Here from this equation we can calculate the direction cosine matrix, that is L M 0 0 0 0 L M. Okay. Now after that, here how we can calculate the length? Of the element? For calculation of the length of the element, we have 2 points. One is x1, y1 and x2, y2. Now you use direct equation of the length between 2 points. For using length between 2 points, we have this length of the element equal to the y2 minus y1, it's a square, plus x2 minus x1, it's a square. Using this length you calculate the direction cosines. Okay. Now after calculation of the direction cosines, next is how we can calculate the force matrix. Now force matrix has also, if you go back here, this is a force matrix in local coordinate system, that is f x dash at node number 2, that is f1 dash and f2 dash. In global coordinate system, you have one horizontal component, you have one vertical component. You have one horizontal component at this location, you have one vertical component at this location. Okay. Now same approach we can use for calculation of the force. You can see here in global direction. What is that approach? I will show you. Now see here this element here, if you have force at node number 1, f1 dash in local direction and f2 dash in local direction, then if we resolve this force into 2 components, this is your horizontal component and this one is your vertical component. You can draw here also. Okay. f1y, that is a force in y direction, force in x direction. This is a force in x direction, this is a force in y direction. Now here, if this angle is theta, this angle is also theta. Your f1x becomes f1 dash, sorry, f1x becomes f1 dash f1 dash divided by cos theta. Am I right? Now you can see here f1 dash is the addition of f1 cos theta plus f1 y sin theta, and f2 dash is f2 x cos theta plus f2 y sin theta, similar to the displacement. Okay. Now this also you can write in matrix form. Here f1 dash f2 dash is equal to cos theta sin theta 0 0 0 0 cos theta sin theta f1x f1y f2x f2y. Okay, or it is lm 0 0 0 0 lm f1x f1y f2x f2y. Now this is a force matrix. Okay, now if force, inclined force is applied, you have to convert that into your horizontal and vertical components by using this one. Now this we can write in short, f dash is equal to L into f. Next is the stiffness matrix. Now you write in chat box what will be the size of stiffness matrix here. Write in chat box what is this, what will be the size of the stiffness matrix. If you have displacement matrix 4 by 1, then what is size of stiffness matrix? Write in chat box. Can you hear me? How much it is? Yes, it is correct, 4 by 4. Okay, your displacement matrix is 4 by 1, means there are 4 degrees of freedom per element. So stiffness matrix is 4 by 4. Now how we can get this 4 by 4 stiffness matrix? For that we will use your simple element which we have used for stepped bar. Now stiffness matrix for stepped bar, when we consider in local direction stiffness matrix of that element in local direction, that is A by L E into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Okay, it is simple one, you know it, if we take the local direction. Now for global direction, if we consider the strain energy in local direction, you have seen this equation while deriving the equation for the stepped bar or for link element or for one dimensional simple element. Okay, simple structural element. Here strain energy equal to the pi dash half of u dash transpose, it is a local displacement. K dash is the stiffness matrix in local direction, u dash is the displacement matrix in local direction. Okay, strain energy equation already we have derived while deriving the structural finite element equation for the structural element. Okay, now this is a strain energy in local direction. Now here what I will do, I will replace this u dash by product of L into u, okay. Here this is this L is direction cosine matrix and u is your displacement matrix in global direction, okay. Now here when we want to replace this transpose, you have to change the sequence of that matrices. Actually u dash is equal to L into u, you have seen here u dash is equal to L into u. This term, this equation I am going to use for stiffness matrix. You can see here I have replaced the u dash by L into u, and while replacing the transpose of u dash, you have to change the sequence. It becomes u transpose into L transpose. So your equation becomes half of u transpose into L transpose. K dash is the stiffness matrix in local direction and into L into u. Okay. Next one. Now I will write the strain energy in global coordinate system. Now it is half of u transpose k into u. U is the displacement matrix in global direction, and this is u again displacement matrix in global coordinate system, and this K is the stiffness matrix in global coordinate system. Now, see here, strain energy in local direction as well as in global direction, you will get the same strain energy because it is the internal resistance. So I can equate this equation number 3 and 4. I can equate the equation number 3 and 4. I will write this half of U transpose K into U equal to the half of U transpose K dash L into U. Now here when we equate these two equations, you can cancel this half here. You can cancel this U transpose U with this U transpose and U. Okay, so stiffness matrix in global coordinate system, you will get L transpose stiffness matrix in local direction into L. Now I will write this equation. You see this K is equal to L transpose K dash into L. Now I will put the values of this L transpose because we want to calculate the stiffness matrix in global coordinate system. Okay. Now L transpose K dash into L. Now I will put the values. You can see here I have used these values. L here transpose of direction cosine matrix. Transpose becomes L M 0 0 0 0 L M. Now here this is the stiffness matrix in local coordinate system, AE by LE into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Now when we take the product of this, you can take the product, it is simple product. I will take AE by L here as a constant term, and I will do the product of these two matrices, and then I will multiply by that product to this matrix. Now when we do this product, you will get this as a stiffness matrix. You have to remember this. K is equal to AE by L, L square, it is a cos square theta, L M, it is a cos theta sin theta. This is a minus L square, it is your minus cos square theta. This is minus L M, it is minus cos theta into sin theta. This is cos theta sin theta. This is a sin theta square minus L M, that is a cos theta sin theta minus cos theta, sorry, minus sin theta square minus cos theta square and minus cos theta sin theta. Now again, if you observe this stiffness matrix, it will follow the properties which we have discussed for the stiffness matrix. What are that properties? If you see the addition of the columns, you see here L square will be cancelled with this minus L square, Lm will be cancelled with this minus Lm. That means addition of this column is 0. Here if you observe this one, Lm minus Lm, m square minus m square, this addition is also 0. Here minus L square minus Lm, L square Lm, this addition is also 0. Now see this one, this addition is also 0. Okay. Again, if you observe the diagonal elements are non-zero positive. See here, that properties which we have discussed for stiffness matrix, that are common for all elements. Okay, everywhere it should be followed. Okay, now this is a stiffness matrix. If you have doubt, you can write in chat box. Yes. Write the doubts. Can I go for next? Okay, I will go to the next. Now this is a stiffness matrix. Now from the stiffness matrix, you can write the finite element equation. Finite element equation is K into u is equal to f, k into u is equal to f, where k is a stiffness matrix in global coordinate system in this form, u is a displacement matrix in global coordinate system, and f is also force, sorry, k is your stiffness matrix, u is your displacement matrix, and f is a force matrix in global direction, that is in x and y direction. Okay. Now, how we can calculate the strains? For calculation of the strains, you convert this displacement matrix which we have calculated, this one, to the local coordinate system, or strain you will get the tensile strain or compressive strain. Am I right? Now, tensile strain or compressive strain in the element, it is the difference between the displacements in the local direction, that is u1 u2 dash minus u1 dash, u2 dash minus u1 dash divided by length. Okay. Or I can write this half, sorry, not half, 1 upon L into minus 1 u1 dash u2 dash, just I have written in matrix form. Now this displacement matrix you can replace by L into u, that is direction cosine matrix into your global displacement matrix, that is minus cos theta minus sin theta plus cos theta sin theta. Why minus? Because there is a minus 1 here, that is minus L minus m into u1 v1 u2 v2. u1 is the displacement of node in x direction, v1 is the displacement of node 1 in y direction, u2 is the displacement of node 2 in x direction, v2 is the displacement of node 2 in y direction. Now, when we multiply by modulus of elasticity to this one, you will get the stress. Therefore, stress is equal to E into epsilon. This is the stress in the member or in the element. Okay. Now this stress is equal to E by L. Here I am going to put this strain matrix E by L minus m L m u1 v1 u2 v2. Okay. Next one, from this you can get the stress. Okay. Now in this way we can do the analysis of the truss member. Now what are the important equations? Now first important equation is your K, because we need K. Without stiffness matrix we cannot write the finite element equation. Now here, for deriving the finite element equation, what we need? We need this direction cosines. And these direction cosines are calculated here. You see here, cos theta is x2 minus x1 upon L, sin theta is y2 minus y1 upon L, and L is your length of element. That means you can calculate this L from these two terms. Okay. Now if you have inclined force, then you use this equation. Okay. If forces are horizontal and vertical, then directly you will get the these components. If forces are not horizontal and vertical, you have to calculate F1x and F1y. That is components of the forces. Okay. Next one, here this is a force matrix. Next one, after calculation of L and L matrix, you can calculate this K matrix. After calculation of the stiffness matrix, you write the finite element equation, that is K into U is equal to F. K is your this stiffness matrix, U is your displacement matrix in global direction, that is u1 v1 u2 v2 equal to f is your f1 f2, that is f1x or f1 in x direction, force in x direction, f1y, that is a force in y direction, f2x, that is a force in x direction, F2y, that is a force in y direction. Okay. After writing the finite element equation, you apply the boundary conditions. Apply the boundary conditions. That means some ends may be fixed. If I go back to my first geometry, here this node is fixed. This node is fixed. Means here both displacements are 0. u1 is 0, v1 is 0. Here u and v both are 0. Okay. It will not displace. You apply that boundary conditions. Then by applying the boundary conditions, solve the finite element equation for the displacements. Solve the finite element equation for the displacements. And after solving the finite element equations for the displacements, you will get the displacements of other nodes. By using that displacements, you calculate the stresses. You calculate the stresses here by using these equations. Here u1 v1, u2 v2, these values you will get, and you put that values in the stress equation of each element, and you calculate the stress of each element. Okay. Now this will complete the analysis of the truss. Now I will share one poll. Before that, if you are doubt, you can write in chat box. Okay, you write the answers. You start to write the answers. Till three students have not completed, you have to complete. Everyone has to complete it. Complete it. Three students. Okay, I will end the polls and we will see the results. Now first we will discuss these answers. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Now we'll discuss these answers. First, local coordinate system for truss element is along the length of element. This is correct. Some students have written this across the length. It is not across the length. It is along the length. Okay. Okay. That means axis of the element is the axis of the local coordinate system. Okay. Now, total degree of freedom of truss element in global coordinate system. Total degrees of freedom of truss element. If you consider the single truss element, total degrees of freedom of truss element are 4. That is the displacement in x direction for node number 1, displacement of node number 1 in y direction, displacement of node number 2 in x direction, displacement of node number 2 in y direction. That is 2 displacements for each node, x and y displacements for each node. Okay, therefore you will get the 4 degrees of freedom for each truss element. Next one, the displacement in local coordinate system and global coordinate system are related by direction cosine matrix, that is L and M matrix, cos theta, sin theta, 0 0 0 0, sin, cos theta, sin theta. Okay, that is u dash equal to the L M 0 0 0 0 L M, that equal to I into u. Okay, now size of the stiffness matrix, size of the stiffness matrix of single truss element in global coordinate system is 4 by 4. In local coordinate system it is 2 by 2. Okay, or it is 4 by 4. You have given this many many students have given this correct answer. Next one, why size of the displacement matrix for truss element in global coordinate system is 4 by 1. Total degrees of freedom is 4. Nodes are 2 and degrees of freedom per node is 2. Both are correct. Both are correct. Okay. If truss structure is made of 3 elements and 3 nodes, then size of the stiffness matrix is 6 by 6. Yes, correct. That is for each node 2 degrees of freedom. Okay, there are 3 nodes, means total structure has 6 degrees of freedom. And already I have told you stiffness matrix, size of the stiffness matrix is equal to the total degrees of freedom. So total degrees of freedom are 6. So size of the stiffness matrix is 6 by 6. Okay, or if you have doubt, you can ask me any doubt. Have you got this theory of the stress? Have you got this theory? If you got, I will go to the next. You can write in chat box. Yes or no? Okay. I will go to the numerical of this. Here, I am going to assign the mini projects on this one, and you have to complete one mini project in this course. Okay. So, you have to understand this numerical as well as theory of this stress. Okay. Now, this is the numerical. Determine the stiffness matrix, stress and reactions in the structure shown below. Assume the points 1 and 3 are fixed. Okay. You take modulus of elasticity 200 GPa and A is equal to 1000 millimeter square. Okay. Now this is a truss structure. You see here, this one truss structure. This is fixed. This is also fixed. Okay. Now load is applied at this end. Now first one, you have to discretize the structure. You have to discretize the structure. That means you have to convert that structure into elements and nodes. Suppose from here to here, this is element number 1, and from here to here, this is element number 2. Now element number 1, it has node number 1 here, and node number 2 here, and node number 3 at this location. This is node number 1, this is node number 2, and this is node number 3. Okay, this is element number 1 and element number 2. This number is 1 and 2. Okay. Now after that, you give the coordinates for the nodes. Okay, you give the coordinates for the nodes. Now how you can give the coordinates for the nodes? See here, from first node, you put first node at 0 0. Suppose this node is at 0 0. Node is at 0 0. When we consider this node is at 0 0, that means its x coordinate is 0 and its y coordinate is 0. Then node number 2, coordinates of node number 2 is this as a x coordinate and this as a y coordinate. That means coordinates of node number 2 are 750 and 500. X coordinate is 750 and y coordinate is 500. Okay. Next one, coordinates of node number 3. Coordinates of node number 3. Again, depending upon these dimensions, you find that coordinates. You see here, this as 0x coordinate means this has also 0x coordinate. Okay. And y coordinate of this node, it is 500. That means node number 1 has 0 0 coordinates, node number 2 has 750, 500, node number 3 has 0 500. Okay. After that you prepare this type of table. See here, element number 1 2. If there are more than 2 elements, you can add the rows here. Element number 3, element number 4, element number 5, so on. Okay. Now element number 1 has 2 nodes, that is node number 1 and 2. Okay. Node number 1 and 2. Or element number 2 has 2 nodes, element number 2 and 3. That means element number 1 is connected by node number 1 and 2. Element number 2 is connected by node number 2 and 3. Okay. After that, you write the positions of the nodes in xy coordinate system, that is in global coordinate system. Now first node is at origin, that is 0 0. Second node it is at 750 500. You see this second node is at 750 500 and third node it is at 0 500. Okay. This is your input. Actually it is input because all dimensions are given here. Okay. Next one, calculate the length of the elements by using this equation. That is, if we go for the first element y2 minus y1 square. Y2 is here, y2 is 750, sorry 500. Y2 is 500 minus 0 square. 500 minus 0, it's a square, plus x2 is 750. x2 is 750 minus 0 and it's a square. That means coordinates of node number 2, y coordinate of node number 2 minus y coordinate of node number 1 bracket square plus x coordinate of node number 1 minus x coordinate of node number 1, it's a square. Okay. And under root of that, it will give the length of element. That means it is 901.39. Okay. Next one, same thing you repeat for the second element. Now here directly you will get the length of second element, not necessary to use this equation, or you can use this equation and you can calculate it. That is y2 for second element. Y2 is y3. That means this node, position of this node, y2 is 500. Okay. Y1 is also 500, that is 0. Okay. It becomes 0. Y2 is coordinate of this for second element and y1 is coordinate of this. It is not as per the node numbers, it is as per the endpoints of the endpoints and starting points of the element. Okay. Endpoint and starting point of the element. Now x2 for the second element is 0 and x1 for the second element is 750. That means 0 minus 750, it's a square, that is 750 square, and root of that 750 square, it is your L. Okay. And length is 750. Have you got it? After that, you calculate the direction cosines. How you can calculate the direction cosines? Now direction cosine is the angle made by that element with the horizontal. Sorry, cosine of that cosine and sine of the angle made by that element with the horizontal. First you calculate the angle here. If we draw the line from here, this is 500 and this is 750. Tan theta is equal to 500 divided by 750. 500 divided by 750. Now you calculate the inverse of tan theta. Then you will get the theta. That means tan inverse of 500 divided by 750. That will give the theta. That will give the theta. Now after calculation of the theta, you calculate the cos theta and sin theta, or you can use direct these equations also. You can see here direction cosine, that is x2 minus x1 divided by L, x2 minus x1 divided by L, that is x2 is coordinate of this node, x1 is coordinate of this node divided by length, x2 is your 750 minus 0, 750 divided by 750, sorry, length of that element 901, 750 divided by 901, first element, that will give the cos theta. And for sin theta, y2 is 500, y1 is 0 divided by length of element is 901.39, that will give the sin theta. Now for second element, it is end coordinate of second element, it is first coordinate of second element. End coordinate is 0 minus 0 divided by L, okay, minus 0 divided by L, but it is moving from this to this one, okay, this to this one. Therefore here you will get the minus 1, okay, here you will get minus 1. Actually it is 180 degree angle, not 0 degree angle, okay. Now next one, sin theta for second element, y2 is 500 minus y1, again it is 500 divided by L, and that will get the 0, and sin theta of 0 is 0. So this is your M, okay. Any doubt in this table? If you have doubt, you can ask me. You can write in chat box. Okay, I will move to the next. See here I have taken minus 1. If your node number 1 is here, and if you are moving from 1 to 2 here, then it will be plus 1. If you are moving from here to here, that is in negative direction, your cos angle is negative, okay. That's why I have taken minus 1 here. Next one, after calculating this one, you calculate the stiffness matrix. For calculation of the stiffness matrix, you have area is given, E is given, direction cosines are given, lengths of the elements are known. Now for first element, you see here AE by L into L square LM minus LM LM M square minus LM minus M square minus L square minus LM L square LM minus LM minus M square LM M square, okay. Now you put the values here. A is area, E is modulus of elasticity, L is length of the element. For first element, your this small L is 0.832 and M is 0.554. Now when we put these values and when we do the product of this all the things, you will get this matrix as a K1 matrix. I will check it. Yes, if you are doubt, you can ask me. Yes, someone is speaking. Tell your doubt.
Sir, Where area is for this?
Area is given here now in numerical a this one. Okay. In statement of the problem itself it is given. Now this is the K1. Now same thing you repeat for the second element. Second element. Now you see here again area of the second element is also same to the first element. A modulus of elasticity is also same. If it is different, you use different values. If areas are different, modulus of elasticity is different, then you use different values. Okay. In our problem, both terms are same. Both areas are same. That means areas of both elements are same. Now here L square is minus 1 square, Lm is 0, this is minus 1, okay. Why? Because minus 1 square is 1 and minus sign, one more minus sign, therefore it is minus 1. This is 0, okay. This is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0. Now here it is minus 1, 0, 1, 0. Next 0, 0, 0, 0. You can see here 1, 0, minus 1, 0, 0, all the zeros, minus 1, 1, 0. Now after calculation, you can observe this one. See here, addition of columns, it should be equal to 0. You can see here, this is 692, this is 692, this is 0.461, 0.461, 0.461, 0.461, 0.307 and remaining two columns, addition of remaining two columns is also 0. Okay. Next one, after calculation of the stiffness matrices, you take the addition of the stiffness matrices. Okay, take the addition of the stiffness matrices. Now I will explain here how we can do the addition. That is, here it is known as the assembly of the stiffness matrices. So here this assembly is complicated as compared to the stepped bar. Why? Because for each node there are two quantities. Okay, there are two elements in the stiffness matrix. For node number 1, you see here, this is corresponding to node number 1, this one is also corresponding to node number 1, this is also corresponding to node number 1, this is also not corresponding to node number 1. Okay, now here, that means here u1 v1, u2 v2, okay, u1 v1, u2 v2, here this is u2 v2, u2 v2, u2 v2, u2 v2. Okay, means you see here, if we consider node number 1, this is related to u1, okay, and this one is related to the v1, this one is related to the u1, this one is related to the v1. Okay, do you agree with this? Now you can understand this one. Next one, for node number 2, see here, if I write here u1 v1, u2 v2, and in column also if I write u1 v1, u2 v2, I will write here just for understanding purpose. I will take this matrix here and I will write here one, here it is u1, next this one is v1, next is u2, this is v2, okay, and again I will write here also Here it is u1, u1. Next, I will write here p1. This is u2. This is p2. Okay, I have written these things. Now, if you observe this matrix, here this first row, first column is corresponding to node number 1. Okay, second column is also corresponding to node number 1. Okay, third and fourth column is corresponding to the node number 2. Okay, I got this is your k11, k12, k13, k14. Okay, 3 and 4 that are connected to the node number 2. Here it is k21, k22, okay, k23, k24. Or if I write here 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you getting this? Now, this is here. If we combine this one, if we combine stiffness matrix for node number element number 1 and 2, here there are 3 nodes, means it is a 6 by 6 matrix. It is 6 by 6 matrix. How we can combine it? How we can combine it? See here these last 4 elements are only connected to node number 2. Okay, connected to node number 2. Here first 4 elements are only connected to node number 1. These 4 elements are corresponding to node number 1 and 2. These 4 elements are corresponding to node number 1 and 2. Okay, have you got it? Now if I go to the second stiffness matrix, here first 4 elements are corresponding to node number 2. Okay, these 4 elements are corresponding to node number 3 and 2, or 2 and 3. You can see here only you will get the u22. Here you will get the u2 and v2. Here you will get the u2 v2. Here you will get the v2 v2. Okay, same thing when I do here it is u2 v2, u3 v3, u2 v2, u3 v3. Okay, means this is related to the u2, this is related to the v2, this is related to the u2 and v2, this is related to the v2 only. Okay, means these 4 elements are connected to the node number 2, only node number 2. Okay, and these are connected to the node number 2 and 3. These are connected to the node number 2 and 3. These are not connected to the node number 2 and 3. Now here, while adding this one, you have to add the elements which are connected to that combiner node or common node. Means here node number 2 is common. Okay, therefore this 1 will be added here, 0 will be added here, this 0 will be added here, this 0 will be added here. Okay, do you agree with this? This part will not be added in this matrix. Why? Because these are not only related to the node number 2, but they are related to the node number 3 also. Okay, and here first row, second row of this K1 matrix are corresponding to node number 1 and 2. First column and second column are corresponding to node number 1 and 2. But these 4 elements are corresponding to node number 2 only. Same thing here. Third row and fourth row are corresponding to node number 2 and 3. Okay, and this fourth, third column and fourth column are corresponding to node number 3 and 4, and these 4 elements are only connected to the node number 2. Okay, therefore these four elements are combined, or you can write the 0 0 0 for 6 by 6 matrix, and you can do addition of the matrices. Now I will show you assembly. You see here. Okay, okay, this I have done the multiplication of this term and this term, and I have multiplied this term inside the bracket. Now you can see here this is corresponding to node number 1, this is corresponding to node number 1, this is corresponding to node number 1, node number 1. Okay, this one is 2 1, that is node number 1 and 2, node number 1 and 2, node number 1 and 2, node number 1 and 2. This is for node number 3, this is for node number 3, but node number 3 is not connected to the element number 1, so you will get these 0 0 terms. Okay, now this is connected to the node number 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and these are corresponding to node number 3. So this node number 3 is not connected to element number 1, so it becomes 0 0. Now here this term is common in element number 1 and element number 2, that means it is shared by both elements. This term is also shared by both elements, this term is also shared by both elements, this term is also shared by both elements. Okay, this is not shared by first element, this is not shared by first element, this is not shared by first element. Okay, now your I will take these two matrices here, and I will explain this and this. You can see here this product is 153.63, you have to remember this, and this 0.46 is 102. Now this term is here. Okay, at first location, this term it is at this location, this third, fourth, these terms are here and here. Second row is as it is. Okay, second row is as it is. Now third row, first term is here, second term is here. Okay, fourth row, first term is here, second term is here. Now on third row, this term and this term, you have to take the addition of these two terms, that is 153.63, it is coming from the element number 1, and 266.67, it is coming from the second element. Okay, now 102, this term, it is term in the first element, that is it is 0.467 into 2222 plus 0 should be there. If there is any number, then you have to add it in this term. Okay, this term it is again this term, and it is 0 here, so plus 0 should be there. Here I will write here plus 0 here. Okay, next one, here also there is plus 0, next here also there is plus 0. Okay, do you agree with this? And remaining matrix, here it is minus 277, sorry, minus 26.67, after that there is 0, this 266.67, this is 0, and this is complete 0 because this matrix has no elements here. This is 0 because of that you will get this 0 and this 0. If you have doubt in assembly, okay, you have one message in chat. Upper left diagonal matrix is of first element, while lower right diagonal matrix is of second element. Upper left, you see this one, upper left diagonal matrix. Here it is not like that. Depending upon connectivity of the problem, depending upon the connectivity of the elements, that is no sharing of the nodes, sharing of the nodes. If you have different problem, you use different strategy. Okay, are you getting this? Means if suppose this element is like this, that means this node is shared by both elements, node is shared by both elements, then addition will be different, assembly will be different, depending upon the connectivity you do the addition. Okay, next one. After this what you do, you write the finite element equation. Now after that you write the finite element equation. Now this is your assembled stiffness matrix. You see here only this shared elements that I have added. After that you write the finite element equation, k into u is equal to f. This is your finite element equation, k matrix which we have calculated, and this is u matrix, and this is your force matrix. Here we have here displacement matrix, that is u1 v1. Sorry, here there should be v1. Just a minute. Here there should be v1. Okay, here u1 v1, these are the displacements of the node number 1. u2 v2, these are the displacements of node number 2. u3 v3, these are the displacements of node 3. It is x displacement, y displacement, x displacement, y displacement, x, y. Okay, next one. R1 is a support reaction, it is in x direction. R2 is a support reaction, it is in y direction. That is F1 x, F1 y. Okay, next F3 x, F3 y, or it is I have written F3 and F4. Okay, this is a force in x direction, this is a force in y direction. Odd forces are in x direction, even forces are in y direction. Okay, R5, R6, that is support reaction in x direction, support reaction in y direction, that is force in x direction and force in y direction. If you are doubt in this assembly, you can ask me. Any doubt in assembly? Okay. After writing this finite element equation, you put the boundary conditions. What are the boundary conditions? Here this node is fixed, this node is fixed. That means displacements corresponding to this node, displacements of these nodes are 0. That is displacement corresponding to node number 1 are u1 and v1. Therefore u1 is 0, v1 is also 0. Okay, now displacements of node number 3 are u3 and v3. Therefore this is 0, this is also 0. Okay, this is 0, this is also 0. Now you will get u2 and v2. These are the two unknown displacements, u2 and v2. Now here R1 we have to calculate, R2 we have to calculate. F3 is the force in x direction, of node at node number 2, but there is no force in x direction at node number 2. Therefore F3 is 0. F4 is equal to 50 kilonewton. And R5, it is a reaction at node number 3 in x direction. R6 is reaction in y direction. Now here you will get u1 v1, u3 v3 are 0. F4 is minus 50,000. Now when we put all the things here, see here, when we have to calculate only u2 and v2, we have to calculate only u2 and v2. Now for that, which equations, what part of the matrix we have to consider? Now you see here, if I write the equation for u2, that is third equation, this is the third equation. Here 153.63 into u1, but u1 is 0, therefore first term becomes 0. Minus 102.34 into v1, v1 is 0, therefore this term is also 0. Okay. Now first two terms in third equation are 0. Now third term, it is addition of these two into u2. Fourth term 102.34 into v2. Okay. Next this term into u3, u3 is 0. Okay, not necessary to consider that term. Next this 0 into v3, v3 is also 0, therefore not necessary to consider this term. Now however equation will be formed, it is addition of these two terms into u2 plus 102 into v2 equal to f3. f3 is 0 again, okay, equal to 0 over. Now next equation, it is a fourth equation for v2, because these two terms, these two are 0, these two are 0, not necessary to write the equations for these two and these two. Okay. Now fourth equation you see here, 102 into 0, this the first term is 0, minus 68 into 15 into 0, this term is also 0. Next is 102.34 u2, 68.15 v2 into, sorry, plus 0 into u3, 0 into v3, that is both terms are 0, therefore result is 0. So your fourth equation becomes 102.34 68.15 v2, that equal to the f4 is your 50 kilonewton, it is 50 into 10 raised to 3 and acting in downward direction. Okay, so by considering that 0 0 boundary conditions, you will get this two equations only for u2 and v2, that is 420 is the addition of these two, 102 it is this term, 102 it is this term, 68.15 it is this term into u2 v2, this into u2, this into v2, this 102 into u2, 68.15 into v2, and on right side we have written only third and fourth equation. So f3 is 0 and f4 is minus 50,000, because it is 50 kilonewton acting in downward direction. Okay. Now solve these two equations, and calculate the u2 and v2. u2 is your 0.28 millimeter, v2 is your minus 1.154 millimeter. Okay. If you are doubt, you can ask me. Right in chat box. Okay, I will move to the next. After calculating the displacements, you calculate the support reactions. For calculating the support reactions, you go back, you write the first equation. First equation is 0 0 minus 153.63 into u2, 102.34 into v2 is equal to support reaction R1. Okay. Now write the second equation for calculation of the second support reaction, that is minus, this is 0, this becomes 0 because u1 v1 is 0, minus 102.34 u2 minus 68.15 v2, 0 0 is there. Next R2. Okay, from first two equations you will get R1 and R2. So depending upon the problem you have to modify it, R1 and R2. Next for R5 you take the fifth equation. You see here minus 266.67 into u2, that will be the R5, and R6 you take the last equation, all 0 elements, therefore R6 is 0. Now you see this support reactions for R1, yes, yes, which one? Okay, stiffness, I will explain here. Here, for stiffness matrix, for displacement calculation, we have used this U10, V10, U30, V30. Am I right? Only unknown terms are U2 and V2. Unknown terms are U2 and V2. Why? Because node number 1 is fixed, node number 3 is fixed. That means it is not moving in x direction, it is not moving in y direction. This is also not moving in x direction, it is also not moving in y direction. This node only moving in x and y direction, therefore u2 and v2 are non-zero. Okay, now for calculation of u2 and v2, you write the third and fourth equation after putting the boundary conditions. Now u1 is 0, therefore this 153.63 into 0, first term becomes 0. Next 102.34 into v1, v1 is 0, therefore this term is also 0. Now this addition into u2, that is a non-zero term. Next 102.34 into v2, this is also non-zero term. Now this minus 266.67 into u3 is 0, therefore this term is 0. This 0 into v3 is 0, again this term is 0. Now on right side we are writing third equation, therefore f3 is 0. So you will get this 420.3, 102.34, 420.3, it is addition of these two terms into u2, 102.34 into v2, that equal to the right side 0. Okay, now I will write the fourth equation. For fourth equation, 102.34 into 0, it is 0, minus 68.15 into 0. Okay, that is your displacement of node number 1. Okay, therefore these first two terms are becoming 0. Next one, 102.34 into u2, 68.15 into v2. Okay, over. Next one on right side there is a 50 kilonewton, that is minus 50 kilonewton, 50,000, because acting in downward direction. Here you can get the two equations by product of these two matrices. Means here this 0 0, we are taking only two equations because there are two unknowns. Okay, now this will be solved for u2 and v2, and after solving for u2 and v2, you will get u2 is equal to 0.28 millimeter and v2 is equal to minus 1.154 millimeter. Now after calculating this one, after calculating u2 v2, what you have to do, you have to calculate r1 r2 r5 r6, r1 r2 r5 r6. Now for calculation of this, what you have to do, for r1 is on first equation, am I right? So you take first equation 153.63 into u1, it becomes 0. 102.34 into v1 is 0, so first two terms are 0. Minus 153.63 into u2 minus 102.34 into v2, that is equal to the r1. Already we have calculated u2 v2. Okay, and after putting that u2 v2 in this equation, you can calculate the r1. For r2 you take the second equation. Here this term becomes 0, this becomes 0. Minus 102.34 into u2 minus 68.15 into v2, that will give the r2. Okay, now for r5 you use fifth equation, that is minus 266.67 into u2, 0 into v2, this into 0, this into 0. Okay, that equal to the r5, and r6 is 0 because all terms on this equation are 0. Over. Can you get now? Is it clear? Utkarsh. Okay. Now I will go to the next support reactions. You see here, I have solved this one. 10 raised to 3 is there. 153.63 U2 minus 102.34. Okay. This one it is 75084 R1. Next R2. This one 5000 R5 746. Again, one more thing I want to tell you here. Here, this vertical force, it is, I think there may be mistake in calculation. You check it. Okay, it should be 0. Addition of this 50,000, this should be 50,000. Okay. Now we will see it. Okay, you have got the procedure to calculate support reactions. After calculation of the support reactions, what you have to do? You go to the stress calculation. For stress, you directly use the equations. Stress in element number 1. Stress in element number 1 is equal to E by L into direction cosine matrix. Direction cosine matrix of the element number 1. Element number 1 into your displacement matrix. Okay. And this equal to the 90.16. This is a displacement matrix U1, V1, U2, V2 because this is a displacement of node number 1. This is also displacement of node number 1. This is also displacement of node number 2. This is displacement of node number 2. Okay. Now this one is stress in element number 2. Stress in element number 2 it is 2. Okay. It is okay. You can understand it. Stress in element number 2, again it is E by L minus M, LM, U2, V2, U3, V3, and that I got 75. Okay. If you have problem, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will take one more assembly operation. If you have problem, you can write in chat box. Okay. Whether my screen is visible or not? Is it visible? Now you see this problem. Now here we will not go for this. What we have to calculate? You have to calculate for all the things. Here this is a truss structure. Again, it is truss structure. Now this end is fixed. This is fixed, and here it is roller support. Now first you have to discretize. I am using this as a node element number 1, element number 2, element number 3, element number 4. Okay, these are the 4 nodes. Freeze. Okay, I will take this on slides. Is it visible now? Yes. Okay. Muhammad, is it visible? Now you see here, this we want to calculate the support reactions as well as the stresses, displacements of the nodes. Here we have to calculate the displacement, two displacements of this node and one displacement of this node, because it has a roller support. It has a roller support. It will move in x direction. Okay. Now here first we have to discretize it. Okay. Now I will select this as an element number 1, this as element number 2, element number 3, and this as element number 4. Element number 4. Okay. After that you prepare the table which I have shown, Now before that you have to put the coordinates. Here this is a 0 0 coordinate, am I right? Node number 1 is at 0 0 coordinate. This node is at 40 0. This is at 40 30. This is at 0 30. Okay, 0 30. Now you have to prepare the table. Now I will enlarge the size of this one. You see this table, is it visible? Now you see here element number 1, this is your element number 1. It is starting from 0 0 0 0 and end at 40. That means coordinates of node number 1 are 0 0, node number 2 are 40 0. So length of that element is 40. You can use equation for the length and you can calculate that. Next one, element number 2, it is starting node is 2, end node is 3, and first coordinates of second node is 40 0 and third node is 40 30. 3 40 30. Okay, element number 3, it is connected to the 3 1 or 0 0. Here element number 4, again it is 3 4 3 4 40 30 0 30. Now you can see here these are the lengths of the elements. Next, these are the direction cosines. Directly we use the equations and calculate the direction cosines. After that you calculate the stiffness matrices for all elements. You see here, I will write one by one. Stiffness matrix for first element, stiffness matrix for first element, second element. This is the stiffness matrix for first element. Here it is. Okay, and this is the stiffness matrix for second element, K1. Okay, this is the stiffness matrix for second element. Is it visible? Okay. Next, stiffness matrix for third element and fourth element. This is the third and fourth. Third and fourth. This is for third and fourth. Now how we can do the assembly of this? You see here, in first stiffness matrix, this first 4 terms corresponding to node number 1. Okay, these 4 terms are common in node number 1 and 2. These 4 terms are common in node number 1 and 2, and this is corresponding to node number 2 only. Okay, now in second stiffness matrix, it is a 2 to 3. First 4 terms are corresponding to node number 2. These are corresponding to node number 3. These 4 are corresponding to node number 3, and last 4 terms are corresponding to node number 3 only. So this will be added here, this 0 will be added here, this 0 will be added here, this one will be added here. Okay, or now third stiffness matrix is like this, and first the 4 terms are corresponding to node number 1. So these 4 terms are added at this one, that is 1 1 1 2 2 1 2 2, these 4 terms, and these 4 terms are corresponding to node number 3. So these are added here. Okay, and for fourth element these are corresponding to node number 3, these are added to here. Okay, and these are separate. Okay, in this way we can do the assembly. You try to complete this assembly during the practical. I will see it. Okay, now we will stop here. I will copy this one here. Okay, we'll stop here. You try to solve. We will develop the program for this. Okay, thank you.